usually try to always get it in there. All right, man. Welcome to this Pay to Soul episode of boxing. Pay to Soul boxing episode, however I want to word that today, whatever. For this episode, we have the incomparable, the luxurious styling, the connoisseur of fashion, no, CEO of Champlain, who shirt y'all saw me wore last time, and I'm wearing it again because duh. I got Mr. Cameron Conn.
I don't know if I'm ever gonna live up to that intro, but I appreciate it for sure.
Hey man, I'm pretty good with words. I want y'all to understand, me and words, I'm pretty doggone good. All right. Oh, twin, you gotta introduce yourself. I guess I didn't even do none of that right.
I stole Twins thunder there.
Hey, we have a guest. It's all good, but I am Twin, of course.
All right, nonetheless, Kev, you know we always do these things. You've seen a couple episodes of the podcast, but you know we do this thing in 3 minutes, just like a round. So I guess here in the next 10 seconds, we'll go ahead and start, and then we'll cut the round. You cool with that?
I'm game. I just hope I have enough stamina to make the first round.
Perfect. All right, round one. Here we are. Cameron, all right, introduce yourself to us, man.
Yeah, name's Cameron Conn, born and raised Las Vegas. I'm now in Vancouver. I'm the CEO of Champlain Apparel. It's a new brand. We're in our first season, our first official spring launch, which has been kind of a big deal. We landed 46 stores in our first spring. So from going to obscurity to kind of getting that uptake has been really amazing. Like history, I actually born in Las Vegas, come from the casino industry, third generation casino family. Originally moved up to Vancouver here as we bought a casino, and I was operating that casino to get it to a new casino. And then one day called my family and said, I quit, which is kind of a thing you need to do in my family. And started a couple of tech companies, and was very fortunate to have a good exit. A couple of years ago, was making investments, and a friend of mine was the founder and creative director of Champlain, and I put in some money and was spending time and helping and a little bit of mentoring, and realized that this was going to be a unique opportunity in my career where I could choose what I wanted to do. I've always loved fashion, and to really break free from that casino industry and go into something new. And so every day, I'm in that fight, except I'm learning how to fight every single day, and it's been super rewarding, and the reception of the brand has been great, and I'm just excited to be in the ring with you.
Nah, man, you are 100% in that fight. The thing about pay the toll, as you know, just in life, we all pay a toll for whatever it is we go chase. You're paying that toll. You've paid that toll as you continue to grow, like you said, through the industries. As far as it relates to the clothing line, who brought this quality? Who found this quality t-shirt? This is a top tier t-shirt here.
Yeah, I got to give all the credit to Jonathan Richard. He's the original founder, creative designer. So he actually came from custom suit tailoring, and that's how I knew him. I wore the casino every day, and always impeccable fashion. And he saw a switch in the market. The business attire was changing. People weren't wearing suit and ties. When you looked at what was going on in the apparel industry, you had fast fashion, you have high fashion, streetwear is obviously bigger than it's ever been, and then you had athleisure wear, and kind of that middle of the road that I just want to look well dressed and I can go to the office, I can go on a date. We kind of lost that, and we're going to Brooks Brothers if we want to kind of find that ultimate casual prep attire. And nobody took a spin on it. Nobody said, hey, let's modernize this.
Last 10 seconds here.
For people to kind of dress well without being out there. And I talk a lot about being loud in the impression.
Oh, gotta cut you. See? That's how quick the round goes.
Oh my God, see?
That goes quick. All right, round two. Back with Cam.
Yeah. So
All right.
let's go. Give it to me.
I'd like to start off. Our first question is, well, my first question is, who is your favorite boxer of all time? Gotta see where your head at.
You know, I grew up being in Vegas, being a Tyson fan,
Mm.
because just that allure of even being, I mean, God, I was 8 or 9, um, remembering when he lost, and why are you picking up the mouthpiece and being so heartbroken? And I think I would say that was my fighter because that was the only fighter I had the visceral reaction to that loss, and you knew even as a kid that this was going to be a 30-second fight, and you wanted to complain about it, but that's just how exciting it was. So I got to go down as a Tyson guy, always.
Gotcha. That's a good one. I think me and Foreman borderline about the same. We have the same. Mine is Roy Jones Jr.
Yeah,
And
Roy broke my heart.
I watched him the Tarver fight, the second fight once. I don't watch it. I still can't watch it. If it comes across my timeline when he got knocked out, it ruins my mood and I get mad.
Yeah.
So
But I think about being older and like Prince Nassim.
Now
Front
that
flip,
was an
front
entertainer.
flip over the rope, and like that kind of excitement, I
Yeah,
absolutely love that and was gravitated toward it. Bernard Hopkins coming in, um, I
executioner.
love that,
Yeah.
and I don't know how much we have of that anymore. And it was those guys in the '90s that I just truly love.
You know, those guys in the '90s. You brought that up. Those guys in the '90s, along with those guys, were out to prove who was the best too. A lot of those times, and we don't. You know, unfortunately, we have a few guys. The younger kids now are starting to grow up and realizing, nah, we kind of can't go the route the same as this person. We got to do our thing to prove who's really the best because the fans want to see who that is. Do you have anybody in mind that you've seen here recently that you're like, okay, I just got to watch this kid?
Well, no. So you know what fight I loved, and it was the the last Tyson fight, which I didn't love. You had the Serrano fight before that.
Right.
Whoever that undercard was before that fight, those two fighters was unbelievable, and the fact
Oh, I
that
think it was
that
Bruce
fight,
Carrington, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was
yeah,
Bruce
that
Carrington.
fight,
Somebody.
I don't think got the press just because the Tyson thing overshadowed it. And I think
Mario
that's kind of
Barrios,
the
too.
shame is that we're not seeing as many of those undercard fights. We don't have HBO Sports. You know, we don't have Showtime. We're not getting the visibility that we used to.
5 seconds.
Yeah, I got
Oh,
it.
this is
I
crazy.
got it.
I'm telling you, it's crazy, ain't it? It's crazy. Yeah, you do, man. Trust me, you know more than you think. You know a lot more than you think. All right, so talking about the brand, like you said, how you found your way back, you found your way inside of it, investing in things. Um, you brought up something of the guys of the '80s and '90s, and one of the things that these guys are missing today, I can say, is how they dress, how they look. You know, we used to see all of those guys back in the '80s and '90s. They'll show up to those press conferences, or when you saw them in public, even if they weren't in a suit per se, like you said. That's leisure wear. They had certain collar shirts. They had a full blown look about them. How do you think we got away from that?
You know, I was thinking about this, and I was thinking that I think fighters have now built a bigger persona about their appearance and their character outside of their game. And I
Mm-hmm.
think, I mean, even if we looked at, you know, what Tank was wearing before the fight and some of the pressers, is I don't know if that's a suit of armor. I don't know. I mean, everyone's wearing sunglasses. Are you hiding behind a pair of shades? Everything about a fighter, and you know this, Foreman, and Twin,
Yep.
you do, is we're protecting that ego. They're protecting that suit of armor that says, I am the absolute best. And I think it's a peacocking, and it's a show of going, I am the most confident person. If you put me in head-to-toe Versace, I would look ridiculous. But they do it because
Absolutely.
that matches their persona, and what they're trying to show to their opponent in the public is that confidence. I
What
couldn't
happens
wear
to the
that.
look? What happens to the look good, fight good? You know, are we missing? How do we find ourselves to integrate back with the stylists, real stylists again, back in
Well,
boxing?
I think they think they look good. I think that's the problem. Is is, hey, that's the flex, and I think it was,
Yeah.
listen, old school mentality is I'm gonna let my fist do the talking,
Right.
and we've always had good talkers, but now it's more about that show and that persona and the characterization of what they think the public wants them to be.
You mentioned the last tank fight. What did you think about it?
I only got to watch the highlights. I got a 5-year-old, and it didn't quite work out. I watched it. I watched the knockdown. I watched I had stuff from my hair and my eye. Then I saw the hairdresser come out and said I did that 3 days ago or whatever. Once again, it's always not about the fight. It's about the story, and that's what is going to
Right.
make Daily Mail, and that's going to make ESPN, and I think that's what's kind of unfortunate about it. And I do love Tank, and I love his fight against Garcia, and we're going to see where they go from there.
I'm gonna see. We're all curious as a fighter. I said it was a knockdown because rule of thumb has always been, you know, it is what it is though, and that'll do it for that round too. All right, round 4, the final round of this 4-round fight. We got Cameron with us today. Twin, why are you mad?
In boxing, it's always a reason to be mad. Let's see. Today I'll pick the topic of power. So one thing I saw after Tank's last fight is some people say that Shakur can't beat Tank because he doesn't have enough power to keep him off.
Hmm.
And while yes, every fighter would love power, probably. I mean, it's nice to have, but it's not a necessity in the sense of knocking everybody out. So the thing about power is everybody doesn't have it. And you have multiple cases of fighters that don't have power that were successful. And if we're talking about fighters that have under or around a 50% knockout rate, you go to Tim Bradley.
Mm.
He was a multi-division champion. Leo Santa Cruz, his knockout rate is around 50%. Same thing with him. So it's like, just because Shakur is not mowing through fighters like that does not mean, I don't understand how we have a whole generation of fans and fighters that praise Floyd, but Floyd got knocked for the same thing about not having power, especially once he went up to 147. But
And everybody's style does not equate to a power puncher either.
Mhm.
You can tell the people who have real power and how they fight. There's a specific look and a stance, right? And it doesn't work for everybody's style. That's why when guys change certain trainers, you can tell who really got a power punch and who doesn't. Look at me finna weave this back in. The same thing goes for clothing, because everybody's style does not look the same as everybody else's on somebody. What I wear would not look good on somebody else, but that's not an indicator that it looks bad for what they got on. It just doesn't look good for them, right?
You,
That's just what
you
it
have to
is.
fight your game, and
Correct.
yeah, not everyone's gonna have power, and Sugar Ray would beat you in the last 15 seconds with a flurry of punches to try to get a nod on the judges' scorecard. You have to fight your game. You have to fight your style, and I think that's the same thing with how you dress. And I think if you care about your game, you work on your game, and you work on the style that works for you. And yeah, you should be confident in that, just like a fighter should be. And yeah, I try not to throw a lot of punches, but hit you with something hard.
Whew. That was perfect. Can't beat that. Can't beat that. Nonetheless, I appreciate it. I'm gonna have to cut that one short. All right, that will conclude this episode of Pay the Soul Boxing with Mr. Cameron Conn. Again, I am Foreman.
I am Twin.
And I'm Cameron Conn.
And there you go. See, all right, Cameron, you got anything you want to leave us with before we close this thing out?
No, this was great. Twin Foreman, I appreciate the opportunity. I think, we're that undercard. We're wanting to be seen. We're wanting to get, a bit of airtime. And that's really what we're doing is we're paying our dues. We're running the road. 5 a.m. every morning, trying to make this work. And so, just like the fight game, it's put in the hours, and we just appreciate the exposure. But you invigorated me to
Sure.
talk boxing, so I'm all about this.
Oh, for sure. And don't forget to use the code Pay the Toll at checkout. I'll put the link in here somewhere around here. I'll swing the link in there. But nonetheless, what more can we look for from Champlain for the rest of the year? I mean, I just saw the spring line that dropped on the 1st. Looks fantastic per usual. I mean, that cardigan you got on right there is pretty cold. I ain't gonna lie to you, dog.
Yeah.
That cardigan it had is pretty good. I'm not gonna hold you.
Some trim on there. I mean, so we just launched fall. We're in 46 stores. We're only in 5 stores in the U.S. right now, but we'll be more in fall. So fall's going to go around August. We'll launch. The fall line is kind of think Prince Charles Balmoral in the 1980s with a fox next to him that he's hunting. It's kind of that vibe. I think that's our thing is every season, dusting off the classics and bringing back this proper attire and wearability. And you said it best in the last cast of like, hey, I'm wearing this shirt now. I could go to the country club in it. I can go here with it. That's what we want to create, versatility and value for people that buy our clothes. And just wait. We only just begun.
Yeah, we just got to figure out how to put us. I mean, we're going to fights, so we got to make sure we look good on camera. So I'm gonna have to get some more of that stuff.
Hey, you shoot me a note and I'll get you nice and dialed.
We gotta get Twin together eventually if he likes to wear clothes.
I'm on the way. It's
Whatever you guys need, you guys reach out and let me know. Happy to help.
Nonetheless, we appreciate you having you on. Appreciate you taking the time out to have us on, man.
yes,
really
sir.
Yeah. My
All
brother,
right.
Keep your hands up.
There you go. Keep your hands up, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you, man. Have a good one.
See you guys.
Oh, of course he did.